good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Had a busy day already, have you? Good morning and welcome to Her Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London. Yay!
Yay!
What's going on over here? You're in the Tower of London. Now, it was built by Walt Disney in 1937. It's all Disney. Now, look, actually, funny enough, we had Disney in here the other day and they offered me a job at Disneyland. I was going to play Mickey Mouse, but he let himself go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I say, it's a World Heritage Site. And my name's Yeoman Warder David Coleman. I'm one of the 37 Yeoman Warders or Beefeaters here at the Tower of London. And for the next hour, we're going to go through the tower. I'll stop at some of the buildings, I'll tell you about the buildings themselves, then I'll give you some stories, some history in that particular area. Very much condensed history, I might add. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we start, let's talk about myself. You know what men are like, ladies, we like to talk about ourselves, don't we? Now, I, as I said before, I'm a Yeoman Warder here at the Tower of London. Now, the Yeoman Warders were formed around 1485 during the reign of Henry VII. So therefore, myself and my colleagues are members of the oldest formed body of men in the world. We're not costume guides! Also referred to as Beefeaters. The term Beefeater is a nickname. We acquired it over the Tudor period, so by 1600s, 17th century, openly being called Beefeaters. Actually, what it actually pertains to, we don't know. Either that, we were paid in food or allowed to eat as part of the job. That sounds about right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Tower of London, shall we? Now, the story of the Tower of London, as it is today, begins in the year of 1066. William the Duke of Normandy, also known as William the Conqueror, he invades England, leading a Norman army. He then defeats and kills the Anglo-Saxon King Howard II at the Battle of Hastings. Then on Christmas Day of 1066, he was crowned King William I of England. Now, despite that, the Norman armies continued to fight the English people. The Normans did not come over here from northern France with coffee and croissant to be nice to us Brits. They're a horrible bunch of people. They actually still are, but anyone from France here today, by the way? Oh, you're from France? Be loud bangs later on, don't spread this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Normans then were an army of occupation. So they built a series of defensive positions to allow them to command and dominate the English people. William the Conqueror himself built a structure here on the east of London, thus dominating the people of London itself. The original tower or structure built here around 1078. Over the years, those successive monarchs improved to that original defensive position. The inner walls, they were built around 1220 during the reign of Henry III. There were 13 towers in total around this perimeter. The outer wall was built 60 years later, around 1280 during the reign of his son, a man called Edward I. And today, there are 6 towers which face south across the river. So how many towers in the Tower of London?
6.
6? Where'd you get that from? 13, where'd you get that from? All right, ladies and gentlemen, go back up the top there, get yourself a little pamphlet, come back for 10:30. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are 6 towers on the outer wall, 13 towers on the inner wall, 1 central structure, 20 towers in total today. It would have been more years ago. But there are also 2 large bastions in the north. Legs Mount there and Brass Mount on the other side. Now, they were built during the reign of King Henry VIII, mainly for the use of cannons. Finally, surrounding the entire fortress, we have this area here, the moat. The moat was built with the outer walls during the reign of Edward I, constructed by an expert he brought over from the Netherlands called Master Walter. Now, originally, this moat was 120 feet wide by 15 feet deep. And indeed, this tower to my right is the middle tower, called the middle tower because it used to stand in the middle of this moat. The moat itself served a dual purpose here at the Tower of London. Obviously a line of defence of the tower, but it also seconded as a catchment area for all the filth, the waste that came from the tower, but also the local area. That also included all the toilets and all used to come in here, all the pooter and wee-wee in here, ladies. Isn't that lovely?
That smells wonderful.
Today then, with the River Thames is at the high tide, then open sluice gates. There's one in the area here, and there's one on the far side. That would allow the tidal water of the River Thames to wash around this boat and flush out all that filth, the waste and sewage back into the River Thames. It would then go down the River Thames, across the English Channel, and wash up on the coast of France. No more French jokes. I can't do these at home. Now the moat itself very well. We were very happy with our moat, but over the years, as the population of London increased, the amount of sewage going in our moat also increased. This system failed. So in 1843, the moat was then drained and filled to the level you can see today. So there's the construction, ladies and gentlemen. The Tower of London, the area of the tower, has been utilised a lot of different ways and a lot of different people, by lots of different people. Now the original structure built as a defensive position, but it was also a home. It remained a home to kings and queens of England. The last monarch to move in, James I, in around 1603. Crown jewels and royal regalia safely housed here at the Tower of London since 1303. Moved here from Westminster, they kept getting stolen from here. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody the other day said to me, why did you build the Tower of London under the flight plan of Heathrow Airport? I honestly don't know, ladies and gentlemen, don't ask me. It was funny, I was dressed a bit like this the other day out the West Gate here, and somebody came up to me and said, excuse me, do you work here? And I went, I'm on the place, you know. So the Crown jewels have been here since 1303. The Royal Mint was also here at the Tower of London. All the coins of realm were designed and minted within these walls up until the year 1810. The Royal Observatory was here at the Tower of London until it moved down River to Greenwich in the late 17th century. It was also an armoury for the storage of weapons and warlike equipment, and also the court records were held here, belonging to our kings and queens. Now, also here at the Tower of London, London Zoo was here up until 1832. It was located in an area called the Lion Tower. The Lion Tower used to stand behind me here where the shop is now. It's now gone. It's worth noting that the first elephant ever seen in England was held here at the Tower of London in 1255. It only lived for 2 years because the yeoman warders of the period were unclear what to feed this rather large new beast. So it was fed on a diet of champagne and beer until it died. On a more positive note though, ladies and gentlemen, I am doing very well on that particular diet. Although it does make your hair fall out. I noticed one of the gentlemen here also on that diet. You don't lose weight, you just feel happier generally about yourself. Now, the use of the tower though, you're all probably more associated with it though, was its time as a prison. Many famous people were kept here incarcerated in the tower. People who held the tower though were the gentry. Peasants like myself, we'd be kept in prisons like Newgate Prison, which is now gone. If we were to be executed, peasants, we'd be hung by the neck, our bodies thrown in a ditch. Not the gentry here from the tower. No, they would expect to be beheaded as a form of execution. Beheadings from the Tower of London were generally carried out outside the tower on Tower Hill within Trinity Gardens. Now, the execution itself, the beheading, would be carried out by a man with a very large axe. The axe itself was not particularly sharp. It was the accuracy of the executioner and the weight it was brought down which severed the head from the body. Some people hacked out many times. Simon Sudbury, 8 times. Once the head severed from the body, it would be taken down to London Bridge and stuck on a spike and left on display as a warning to other would-be traitors. The headless body would be brought back inside here, the Tower of London, where it would be buried within the Chapel Royal of St Peter ad Vincula. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you still up for a tour of the Tower of London?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So I've got Breaking Bad on Series 3 at home. I've got important things to do. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, if you're up for a tour of the Tower of London, let's be heading into town.